is July 6th, 2026, and it is also the 7-year anniversary of finally getting my children away from my mother, which if you have followed Facebook, my YouTube, TikTok, there was a very abusive relationship. She was very controlling. There were multiple psych evaluations. People wouldn't believe most of the stuff that I grew up around, dealt with as a child. I've had therapists quit on me because they thought I was making this shit up. And I sat down and it popped up as a memory of the last time I ever saw my mother's house 7 years ago. And for people who may not understand the significance of 7 years, is that over 7 years, a healthy body will actually break down and rebuild just about its entire infrastructure in 7 years. So for me, it tells my brain it's been 7 years since any cell of my body was ever there. So this year, today, I have no piece of me that's ever been exposed to her, to the trauma that she exposed me to the trauma that she gaslit me to for years, and the multiple levels of abuse that she allowed us to be raised in and that she personally delivered herself. And it is so freeing to be able to be like, was it emotional? Sitting there and kind of like reviewing the content from all those years ago, yeah. But the huge reason of how and why I got out is because I was delusional enough to start vlogging. I had decided that I was going to try to be a YouTuber. I was going to try to vlog, and in the midst of me learning how to vlog and having to edit footage, I got to see, hear, and play back a lot of the moments that my mother were gaslighting me simply because she didn't respect that I was doing anything. I don't think she even realized my camera was on a lot of the time, or she thought I was just going to edit it out. So I have a lot of private videos that are vlog style of the way she's treated me, the way she's treated other people, how she's lived, how she justifies all of this stuff. And I have to give YouTube thanks, because without YouTube, I'm not entirely sure that I would have been able to pick up on the pattern of abuse, because I was homeschooled. She was my primary parent. We weren't allowed to go outside. We didn't even socialize with our own family. There was to a point that I refused to even leave the house because she had told people so much that I was retarded, special needs, that the government should have been paying disability on me because she was my caretaker. I have paperwork from a individual education plan, an IEP, that expires after 2 years, that was tested and drawn up back in the 5th grade. And because she couldn't pull a check off of me, suddenly I had to, pay my way another way. So she would use this testing, just enough vocabulary to confuse people who weren't smart enough to know any better, to pity her, to give her stuff because she couldn't be bothered to actually hold down a job, educate herself, or stop interrupting people every 30 seconds. I've literally seen this woman take a textbook, take white out instructions and answers in the book and rewrite it the way she wants it to be. So her own little universe is what she was living in. And I have to say thank you to YouTube, because did I become a vlogger? No. But the process of learning about vlogging, to attempting to try to vlog, to attempting to learn to edit, actually ended up documenting my life in a way that I never thought was going to happen. It gave me a real life view of what was happening in my life, because in the times that I was away from her, I would be editing and I would be like, well, she said this in the video, this is what I remember, this is what she's saying now. And it gave me an out. I wasn't the crazy one. I had video proof, sound recording proof. And the scary part is, when I finally figured out what was happening, I had to slowly move my life to remove her because I was working. My husband was working. I was picking up extra side gig jobs, and she was trying to record it in a way that we were giving her custody, because apparently she doesn't understand what a job is, let alone a second job. And like, she volunteered and help, quote, help watch and take care of the kids. And she's like, oh, it's fine, he's already asleep, just let him stay the night. Never take help from anyone. She was trying to take custody of my children. I was having to work because my husband and I was separated. We were going through marriage counseling. He was going through a lot of chemical issues like depression, and that we've had death in the families. We were going through and getting our medication. We were getting all these things done. And she would be like, oh, you're just going to do this, and you're partying, or this and that and another. You don't want to be with your kids. And I had refused to tell her what we were actually doing because she had been sabotaging my life and our marriage for years. And anyone who wants to challenge me on that, honey, I've got proof. Okay? I don't speak out of turn. One thing I learned from my parents' divorce is to document everything. And I have videos, I have blogs, I have so much. And I've got to thank God for YouTube, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have anything. And I could not imagine looking back and spending 2020 quarantine with that woman.